Hey, let's talk about the news that just broke. I can't believe this is real, but since we've been recording a podcast this morning, it's come out that during today's NBC upfronts, it was announced that a new WWE produced series starring Braun Strowman is going to debut on the USA Network this fall. Yeah, this happens despite Strowman's recent release from WWE. It's called Everything on the Menu with Braun Strowman. Everything on the Menu with Braun Strowman is a new food format with a big appetite. Each episode, you'll join WWE legend Braun Strowman as he eats his way across America while on the road for WWE, ordering everything on the menu and trying to down every last bite. Everything on the Menu with Braun Strowman is produced by WWE Studios and Bright North Studios. Well, first of all, let me just say I'm all for Braun Strowman staying in the WWE universe and getting a payday. But I will say, buddy, if he ever finds himself in Nashville, I say y'all go mano a mano.
Well, you would like to refer to me as just the left side of the menu.
Yes.
So he's doing everything on the menu. But hey, man, I know you've got to be thinking, I love the show, love the format, love the concept. But he was just a part of that release. So can he wrestle for other organizations and still appearing on Peacock? I guess he can. Interesting. That wouldn't you say that's an interesting development, Conrad, from a business, from a TKO Peacock relationship circumstance, or no?
I thought it was so damn interesting. I interrupted our conversation about Slamboree 2000 for it because I don't think anything like this has ever happened before, but I think it's a great thing.
Yes.
We're allowed to be able to say, hey, man, maybe there are injury reasons. I mean, we've all heard reports. I'm not going to repeat them because I don't know what's true or what's not true. But if for some reason someone's in-ring days are over with an organization, but that same organization finds a way to still work with them and put food on the table and create content and leverage that celebrity and that IP that they've already established, man, that's a win for everybody. Said differently, can you imagine your dad back in the day? Now, Bill Dundee, we think we're going to move you out of in-ring action. What we'd like to have you do is we'll pay for you to ride around and eat lunch. Now, we're going to pay you about the same. Now, you won't be wrestling. You won't be taking bumps. You're just going to go eat free meals, and we're going to have a camera there to film it. How's that sound? Where's the downside?
Yeah, that's as I'm thinking it real time through. I think there's, it's one of those things. Braun's got a loud personality, boisterous. I hope he's got a hell of an appetite. I'll give him a run for his money. But this kind of thing could really parlay him into, oh, man, Joey Chestnut, watch out. Braun Strowman's on the way.
Can you imagine if they do have it show up this July?
Yeah, I like
for a hot dog eating contest.
Yes,
it's a no-brainer.
Yes, he's got the charisma. He knows how to get the crowd. It's engagement. It's engagement.
Hypothetically, I don't want you to say it because I don't think we're doing it now. But do you remember the original lineup I sent you as a hypothetical for StarCast this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Slamboree 2000. This is an interesting time in WCW, to say the least. Let me just give you a little recap directly from the Observer. This would have come out on May 5th of 2000 in the Observer. And here's what they wrote about it. Yes, the most prestigious title in our sport changed hands twice more this week, with DDP beating Jeff Jarrett at Nitro on April 24th in Rochester, New York, and then it being put up to the winner of the fall in a tag match on Thunder on April 25th in Syracuse, New York, with David Arquette pinning Eric Bischoff. The idea, and since this just happened as we went to press time, well, if this is correct, WCW believes the publicity about Arquette winning the title will hit mainstream and lead to a ratings boost on May 1st, since the WWF looks to be changing its world title to Rock, and Austin will appear. They did a double pin finish with Jarrett pinning Page at the same time that Arquette pinned Bischoff, but they announced Arquette as the winner and new champion and had him parade around with the belt. Kimberly was the referee and kept counting slow whenever Page had Jarrett pinned and counting fast the other way. Somehow she was out of there, and Mickey J ran in and counted the double pin and signaled that Arquette had won. Most likely on May 1st, it'll go back to Jarrett, perhaps as an executive decision or perhaps in the ring. What did you think about this idea, Jeff, when you first heard about it? Both the idea of Arquette fluking his way into the title in general, but also winning it from his tag partner in a tag team match while said partner had to pretend that he was happy he lost the world title. Like, I think a wrestling personality once said this phrase, and maybe it applies here. That's a bridge too far, is it not?
Well, and look, as we have always said on here, creative is subjective. And I mean, this goes back, we say, yeah, it's 25 years, correct? Like, to the point that there are so many ways to armchair quarterback this in a number of ways. And I think we always land up on kind of an option A, B, or C, all being better than actually going forward with the complete title switch. A bridge too far, yes. And you know, I don't know where I should dive into this, but I think you could have, as Dutch would always say, we can get to the same spot by going this route. And look, Russo wanted publicity. He wanted Arquette, you know, the movie and his appearance on Letterman and USA Today and any other mainstream he could have gotten at. If they would have essentially kind of said, David Arquette is the current holder of the WCW title while the board is reviewing the clause, and then get to another part of the show or the next episode next week and basically say the belt is held up and we're going to decide it at the pay-per-view. Having him actual champion, and we're going to get into this, I think it almost made David go from a very tough spot to an impossible spot, because then he was champion, and to the wrestling audience, a segment of the wrestling audience, that rubbed him the wrong way. Hell, it still rubs people the wrong way to this day, because there's two sides of it. But I think you could have got to the same spot if you would have just held the belt up.
I can't disagree. I wonder how big of a slippery slope you were in, though. Back then, of course, this is, you know, you just jumped in October. Here we are, we'll call it 6 months later, and you're figured in the top spot. You're in the title picture. I mean, this is, you know, the highest spots on the card you've held from a mainstream national audience. I mean, certainly you main evented every territory, but I mean, as far as the WWF and WCW, you being in the title picture is exactly what every wrestling performer would want. And I know that Russo is the guy who's really advocating for you here, and you had a great relationship with him that gave you more confidence about your career prospects than perhaps you thought you would enjoy with Jim Ross and Vince McMahon. But when you see some of the creative here, are you in a weird spot where you feel like you can't raise your hand and say, "Are we sure about that?"
Well, we can isolate this because it really is a microcosm. But if you really look back from the day I arrived and the political nature, it just goes without saying that what a blueprint on how not to run creative. Because, and I don't, just because it's the top, you know, Hogan, Hall, Nash, Lex, Sting, and I'm going to forget a few others, and then the New Blood, and then Savage is in there. So many different folks that at this stage of their career and the money coming in, and it was most importantly in this whole mindset is they were guaranteed contracts that you didn't have to do what you were asked to do at all. You were going to get paid regardless. We'll call it the total annihilation, ass whooping, the vibe, the morale, because on the other side of the fence that I had just left, knowing, you know, Austin and just Mick and Rock and DX and the Attitude Era, they were just, everything was rolling over there. So it was a clear cut by this time, May of 2000, Conrad. It was just a clear cut WWE number one, WCW number two. They lost the slot. There was maybe an ebb and flow there for a time. Now Russo comes in. I think I get this right. He had already been sent home. Now he's back. Hey, Eric and Russo, y'all got to work together. Okay, that's kind of a ticking time bomb. Let's try to do this. It's still on a week-to-week basis. And that's another thing, Conrad, that is so damn hard. And I've been in the middle of all kinds of stuff like this as a talent, as a producer, helping things out. I've seen my old man back to the territory days, one angle after another, may not pop. Then he just literally takes his yellow colander pad, rips everything up. I'm going to forget what I had the next, month or two or however far in advance. He said, to start over. So Shivani, and you'll probably recall this even better, but this was far from a well thought out plan. It was a week to week basis. And so, yes, Conrad, I was there. I was loving the money that I was making. I knew where I had just come from, that I was about as hot a heel as the WWF had in October of 99. So we'll call it September of 99, a hot heel. And I knew where the political climate, I'm not going to point fingers just at Ross, because he was trying to keep his top star happy and everything that goes with all that kind of stuff. I knew that I didn't use the words grateful, but I was thankful to be there and in this opportunity, but knew in my gut of guts that this ain't going to get us where we hope it is, because there's just too much. And this is the term I always used, man, we're hot shotting a lot. I mean, when you start hot shotting a lot, it no longer becomes a hot shot. It's just it's just there.
We're helping people save money at savewithconrad.com. And with all the economic turmoil going on the last few weeks and all the uncertainty it brings, here's one thing that is certain: your home is still worth more than what you paid for it. According to the Zillow Home Value Index, the value of your home is still going up year over year, which means you're most likely sitting on untapped equity. Did you purchase your home or refinance it a few years back and got one of those really low COVID interest rates, and now maybe you're worried about giving it up? Well, here's something to think about. While the interest on your mortgage payment is low, the interest you're paying on your credit card balances is most likely wiping out those savings and then some. So what's more important, clinging on to that low rate or saving money each month? Let's talk about using the equity you've built up in your home and rolling all that debt into one lower monthly payment. Someone who just did that was our man Andrew, a maintenance worker in Tennessee. He needed to pay off some debt, and he needed to get a new roof and some new floors for his home. So instead of taking out more debt to do these upgrades, he came to savewithconrad.com to use the equity he's built up in his home and do a refinance. Savewithconrad.com helped him accomplish all of those upgrades he wanted on his home. He paid off his debt, and now he's saving over $400 a month. He even got to skip his next 2 house payments. And you can do it too. Go right now to savewithconrad.com and let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no cost and no obligation. And if we can't help you save some money today, we won't waste your time. It doesn't cost a thing to look, and you've got nothing to lose except some crazy high interest rates on those credit cards. You know you can do better. Start saving money today for your family with my family at savewithconrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender.